It's time to dance in Division III men's hoops as we start the D3 regionals here in Baltimore today on HopTV. Connor Newcomb, Akiva Poppers with you for this one. As our first game today, it's Yeshiva and WPI right here from Baltimore. And of course today this game here in Goldfarb Gymnasium will be played without any fans in attendance, as here in Baltimore, in light of Maryland's recently confirmed cases of COVID-19 and based on CDC guidance for large gatherings, we've determined that it is prudent to hold this tournament without spectators. We are not making any determination about other JHU events at this time while we await further guidance from public health authorities, and we will be assessing large events on a case-by-case basis. We regret any inconvenience to the families and fans of the players. So it will be an empty gym as far as fans are concerned here for the 3 games this weekend. But Akiva, we still have basketball to play on the court, and that's the big part of this weekend, obviously, as 4 teams come in looking to advance to the Sweet 16. And we start today with our first game of the entire tournament. It's number 13, Yeshiva and WPI. We'll start with YU. The Macs have won 27 in a row. They've got the best record in Division III men's hoops right now. Their previous record for wins was 19. What has this team done this year that's put them over the top?
Yeah, I would say the first thing has got to be Ryan Terrell. Ryan, as a second-year student this year, has really taken off. He's been fantastic, especially on the defensive end. He may be averaging 23 points a game, but what gets unnoticed is the fact that he has been shutting down opposing teams' top players. But besides for Ryan, it's just this motion offense as a whole. It's really all come together, off-ball screens. Really just a unique offense, this motion offense is, and that's what's helped YU go on this 27-game winning streak.
And on the other side, it's the WPI Engineers. They come in at 20-7, and they had to get themselves a Pool C bid. They were an at-large in the tournament. It looked like WPI was going to get the automatic bid from the NUMAC. They had a 24-point halftime lead. They led by 25 in the second half in the championship game against Coast Guard. But the tournament darlings, Coast Guard, came back from a 25-point deficit, won that game. So if you're WPI, you still get into the tournament, which is good. But how do you recover from blowing a lead like that in your conference championship?
Yeah, NUMAC is a very, very tough conference. So the fact of the matter is that although they did blow a lead, Coast Guard is a good team. Maybe a tournament darling, but they're a very good team. It's tough to get it out of your head. It really is tough. But this is a disciplined team. I would expect them to just go straight to Stevenson from the beginning of the game. Discipline, right into the post. That's where they run. 4 in, 1 out, 4 out, 1 in offense, this motion is. And they're just going to Stevenson the entire game. As long as they stay disciplined with Stevenson in the post, they'll be fine. And I just want to highlight, Stevenson, Stevenson, Stevenson. That's what this team is. WPI relies on Stevenson to be their big man.
So it's WPI and Yeshiva kicking off the 2020 Division III men's basketball tournament, and we will be back with lineups and national anthem and the tip here on HopTV.
For WPI, 6'4" senior forward from Brookfield, Massachusetts, number 4, Jake Wisniewski. For Yeshiva, Akiva, 6'4" senior from Baltimore, number 33, Daniel Cox. For WPI, a 6'4" freshman forward from Hingham, Massachusetts, number 45, John Lasher. For the Maccabees, a 6'7" senior from Los Angeles, California, number 11, Ryan Terrell. For Worcester, a 6'7" junior kicker from Townsend, Massachusetts, number 55, Garrett Stevenson. For the Maccabees, a guard, a 5'11" junior from Los Angeles, number 15, Aiton Havertz. For the Engineers, a 6'1" junior guard from Middletown, Connecticut, number 3, Caleb Bryan. For the Maccabees, a guard, a 6'3" senior from Los Angeles, number 20, Sika Havertz. And for the Engineers, a 6' junior guard from Arlington, Massachusetts, number 10, Colin McNamara. And now introducing the head coaches. For the Maccabees, Elliot Steinmetz. For Worcester Polytechnic Institute, Chris Barkley. The officials are Greg Moyer, Joe Brogan, and Jason Fiorello. The alternate is Mike Triplett. The official score is Greg Konar. The scoreboard operator is Alana Farrell. The clock operator, Julie Jackson. The shot clock operator, Jimmy Jackson.
And welcome back inside of Goldfarb Gymnasium. Connor Newcomb, Akiva Poppers with you here on HopTV as we start the first round of the NCAA Division III men's basketball tournament here in Baltimore between the 13th ranked Yeshiva Maccabees and the WPI Engineers as they will start the tournament here in the Charm City. The Macs come in 27-1. They won a perfect 16-0 in the Skyline Conference, whereas WPI had to get a Pool C bid 20-7, and they went 10-3 in the new MAC. WPI in the all-white, Yeshiva in the all-black, and Akiva in this one. We look at two teams who, one, as we talked about in the Open, about as hot as you can get right now. The other one, WPI, trying to just get out of their mind what happened in their conference championship game.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for WPI, but it's like I said in the pregame, it's so important for them to just go back to what they run at the beginning of the game.
So Yeshiva will start with it. The Macs have it first. They lost their first game this season. You got to go all the way back to November. Since then, 27 wins in a row for this Yeshiva squad. A school record in wins at 27-1, and the best record in Division III, as a 3 is no good there from Ryan Terrell. He's their leading scorer, 23 points per game, and the Conference Player of the Year.
Yeah, Ryan Terrell last year came onto the scene scoring 19.9 points a game in his freshman season. He's just a star, arguably one of the top point guards in all of D3.
So here's WPI, and we're going to get an offensive foul called against Garrett Stevenson, and he's the star for this Engineers team, number 55 in white, the junior out of Townsend, Massachusetts, 16 points per game. He shoots it almost 63% from the field. He's going to be the mainstay in their offense.
Yeah, he's just a post player. He's got very short range. That's his job, get into the low post and just work it.
Inside, Yeshiva, they're going to get the first basket of the game for the Macs. It's Donnie Katz, the senior from Baltimore, a homecoming for him as he gets in here and gets his team's first basket.
Yeah, and that's your motion, Donnie Katz, with a quick cut to the basket for an easy layup.
And excited to see this matchup down low. Katz versus Stevenson is what we'll see probably a good chunk today as a mid-range will fall there for Jake Wisniewski. He's another senior who's one of the leaders on this team. Now, Wisniewski, known for his defense, the Defensive Player of the Year in the new MAC this year, but he gets that first bucket and ties it at 2.
Yeah, he's the glue guy for WPI.
The other way come the Engineers off a steal. They'll go to the wing. Wide open 3 coming from Downing, and he hits. Caleb Downing, a junior from Middletown, Connecticut, 33% shooter from deep on the season, and he knocks one down.
And that's where he likes it, from behind the arc. Downing, just a shooter. That's what he does, shoot all day.
And Yeshiva's going to go inside. And now they'll look to answer. That rims out there for Eitan Halpert, the junior out of L.A. Back the other way comes WPI. It's Wisniewski in the corner. And they're going to go inside. Not as big of a big guy down there in Lowther, the freshman, but he can work it inside as the jumper's no good and a rebound for the Max.
Yeah, and we saw Halpert running him off the line right there, making sure that he couldn't get that three.
Feed out top for Katz. Now Halpert driving with a left hand and too strong. That was Simha Halpert, the brother of Eitan, as the two are in the starting lineup. And now Eitan Halpert, a pocket picked, and he lays it in on the other end.
Yeah, Eitan Halpert is known for picking pockets. In the Purchase Championship game of the Skyline Conference, there was a fast break for Purchase. He picked the guy's pocket when he was just open all the way by the basket. That's something which he is known for.
Here's John Lowther. He goes up, tough shot, left it short, got his board and scores. John Lowther, the freshman from Hingham, Massachusetts, NEWMAC Rookie of the Year this year. He's been a huge addition to that team offensively, and now almost WPI gets a turnover. And stepping on the line there was Terrell.
Yeah, an interesting start so far for both teams. WPI really just taking some shots from outside. The Max, a couple of early turnovers. Maybe a little unsettled with all of the action which they had to deal with yesterday.
7-4 game here, early in this one. Couple of teams that, especially Yeshiva, was trying to make its case to potentially be a host at some point this year, but the conference they play in the Skyline, not one of the strongest in Division III, and despite the 27-1, they ended up being sent down here to Baltimore, but still a good team that has a good shot to potentially come out of this region and make it to the Sweet 16. Engineers with the ball, they'll go to Wisniewski. He's touched it a lot so far, and good defending from the Max here. 9 to shoot, they go up top, Downing a three, and he missed that one. Up the court quickly come the Max. Halpert. And a nice drive by Terrell. They'll say no shot as they'll get the foul on the floor, and the Macs are going to take it out of bounds under the hoop.
Yeah, WPI plays at the 385th tempo in all of D3, 422 schools in all of D3. One of these slower teams, it's critical that the Macs speed up this game.
And this Macs offense, been one of the better ones in the country this year. 85.6 points per game for Yeshiva coming into this one. That led the Skyline Conference. Halpert to his left, little floater, and he kisses it home.
Yeah, Halpert known for his three-point shooting, but he can go inside as well. Nifty play there from the senior.
Simha Halpert, the senior out of LA. His brother Eitan, the junior on this team, both in the starting lineup. And an answer from Wisniewski, knocks down a jumper. And Wisniewski again, he's been back-to-back NEWMAC Defensive Player of the Year in 2020 and 2019. But he's showing off the offense early in this one, as he'll match up with Terrell, the leading scorer on the other side, as Katz missed the floater, got his board. Nice quick pass to the corner. Here's Halpert for three, and he knocks it down.
Yeah, that's basically the definition of Maccabees basketball. Quick passing. They know where the man is. They know he's going to be open.
Here's Downing. You'll see him start the offense. He's the point guard for this team. But he struggled a bit from the field his last 4 games. It was good to see him for WPI knock down a three to start this one. As we'll get a couple of subs coming in early for the Engineers. Lou Daugherty, number 2, and Ethan Harrell, number 24, coming in as the Engineers are going to make an early sub. And we've got our first media timeout of the day. 14:59 to go in the half, all knotted up at 9 apiece here in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Early in this one, 9-9 between Yeshiva and WPI. A couple of coaches who have seen a lot of success lately, but varying careers. For Chris Bartley for WPI, it's his 19th season. He's been to 12 NCAA tournaments now and is the all-time winningest coach at WPI. And on the other side for Yeshiva, Elliot Steinmetz, his 6th season, a Yeshiva graduate back in the early 2000s. And I think this has been just a great job by him to come to his alma mater and build up this program to where they are now at 27-1.
Yeah, he has essentially turned around the program as there's a quick turnover there by the engineers. Coach Steinmetz has completely turned around this program. Donnie Katz and Simcha Alpert, both seniors on this team, committing to go to Yeshiva and turn around the program with Coach Steinmetz, and look where they have come. 27
wins in a row, but this one would be the most important if they could get to the second round. Nice move inside and a bucket from Gabriel Leifer. Leifer, the senior, who really is the do-it-all guy for this Max team. You need a rebound, you need an assist, you need a bucket, you need a steal, you need a block. He can do anything. He leads the team in most of those categories as it calls a turnover here. Outlet pass, and a beautiful one, coast to coast, and Terrell gets the bucket.
Yeah, and that's Leifer again. Leifer, 2.66 assist-to-turnover ratio, which is just absurd. He, like you said, can do everything.
He's the second leading scorer on this team. He leads the team in rebounding, assists, steals, and blocks. Also led the conference in the Skyline in rebounding, assists, and blocks. As an answer bucket from Caleb Downing.
Yeah, Max allowing middle drive there, something which they've really tried to cut down on this season.
So Leifer feeds inside, nice little turnaround, and Halpert scores again.
Yeah, Halpert just cutting to the basket. That's the Max motion offense once again.
So far, Halpert has been an issue for this WPI defense. He's been able to get inside as he forces a turnover right there, but he's kind of getting to the basket at will right now, and we've talked about, he's a great shooter. He's hit a 3, but if he can get to the rim too, he becomes really hard to stop as Terrell hits a 3 in the corner.
Yeah, Terrell this season really transitioned from being a three-point shooter or a mid-range shooter into a two-point shooter, but he can still knock it down from outside.
And they're looking for a 3 from the answer. Lou Doherty, the senior from Arlington, Massachusetts, misses one off to the left. And we'll get a couple more new bodies into the game here as for WPI. They're going to wait on the sub here as we got a foul down low.
And with Simcha Alpert's quick 7 points early on, he is now the second leading scorer in Yeshiva University history, passing Ayal Hod, just Yassigev now in front of him.
Yeah, for Halpert, a fantastic career. The senior from Los Angeles. He was the second team all-conference performer this year, first team all-conference as a junior and a sophomore, and he was the Skyline Rookie of the Year as a freshman. He's been honored every year on this Yeshiva squad. 6 to shoot. Into the corner. They got to hoist something up, and it's dribbled out of bounds. That was Ethan Harrell who lost it, and Yeshiva forces another turnover. That's now 6 turnovers early by the Engineers.
Yeah, and Harrell likes to shoot it when it's open, but he isn't so much of a shooter besides for that. And you saw Terrell just running out, knowing that the shot clock was low, realizing that Harrell would have to put it on the ground. He did, and he turned it over.
Yeshiva goes inside again, and this time a foul is called. Ofek Reef, into the game, the freshman out of Plano, Texas. Really one of the only true freshman on this team. They do have a few first-year guys, but he's come in and made a big impact this year, Skyline Rookie of the Year. They go to the corner, and that one was thrown away. The argument is that I believe WPI, they thought touched the ball as Milobski faked the shot and threw the pass, but it'll go back over to the Engineers.
Yeah, and you saw Leifer already getting ready to grab the rebound from that Milobski shot, which never even happened, expecting that Caleb would just take the initiative there.
Stevenson back in the game. He picked up that offensive foul early. Now Doherty, and he gets called for the push-off.
Yes, WPI there. They have a few players who do like to use their non-handle arm to push off a little bit. We saw Doherty do it there, and WPI already racking up fouls at 4 with 12:15 left in the half.
This Yeshiva team, nice start to this one. Looking to make it a 10-point lead as that one rims out for Leifer.
Yeah, but I like that shot from Leifer, forcing Stevenson out of the paint. Leifer is a big who can shoot.
Nice pass from Stevenson. Layup no good from Harrell. And a foul down low gets called on Wisniewski. It'll go the other way.
And once again, Leifer making his mark. That was all Leifer getting inside, crashing the glass for the Maccabees.
And that's a big foul call on Wisniewski. It's his second personal as we hit a timeout. 18-11 Yeshiva with a nice start to this one.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Under 12 to go in our first half here from Baltimore. Connor Newcomb, Akiva Poppers with you here on HopTV as the opening game of the 2020 Division III Men's Basketball Tournament commences here in Baltimore. It's the Yeshiva Maccabees and the WPI Engineers, and Yeshiva, after it was kind of back and forth early, they've gone on a little run here, and the ball movement and the offense, WPI just has no answer.
Yeah, and as Ryan Terrell hits another jumper, that puts the Macs shooting from the field at 9 for 14. When your motion offense is working, the shots fall. That's how the Macs play.
So a 20-11 lead now as WPI, they're going to need some baskets on this end. They go to Stevenson, their leading scorer, and he'll kick it out. And he stayed on his feet, and three no good from Dakota Wheeler, the junior out of East Hampton, Massachusetts, who's really struggled shooting it over his last 4 games. Just 2 for 13 from the field in his last 4, and he misses again there. Yeshiva looking for 3. Reef no good. Gets his own rebound.
Yeah, Terrell, Swiss Army knife, 6'7" guard, one of the taller guards in D3.
And on that last bucket from Ryan Terrell, it was Gabriel Leifer who picked up an assist. He's now the all-time leader in assists in Yeshiva basketball history, as there's another bucket for Terrell.
Yeah, and that makes this Macs run 13-2 since that timeout at 9-9. They've just been taking over this game in the last 5 minutes.
And now Chris Bartley, in his 19th season ahead of the Engineers, is going to have to figure out something defensively to try and stop this Macs offense. As Terrell gets the hoop and the harm, he's already got 9 points. A chance to get himself into double figures early, but misses on the free throw. An 80% shooter at the line. That one rims out.
And with no fans in the gym, the players have to serve as the crowd.
The Yeshiva bench bringing some noise as another 3 rims out as Downing. He hit that first 3-pointer. He's been ice cold since. They go inside. Malobsky. Extra pass to Leifer. He'll try the 3, and it rims out.
Yeah, we see Malobsky in the game. He's the backup big to Donnie Katz in his 3rd semester with the Maccabees. Just a big body, 6'6", all muscle from Denver, Colorado.
Stevenson, and he got hit on the floor before the shot, as they're going to try to go into Garrett Stevenson, the junior from Townsend, Massachusetts. 16.1 points per game. He shoots at 63% from the field, and he's a pretty solid free throw shooter as well. But it's going to be a side out of bounds here.
And coming in for the Macs, Kevin Boker, a defensive specialist. He can't really shoot so well from the floor. He is just there for his defense.
Stevenson turning, left hand, banks it home.
It's a nice post move from Stevenson, who got really low right by the basket where he likes it. That's his point.
So here is Kevin Boker into the game. He gives it off immediately. Out top, 3 goes up. That one's no good. Yeshiva's missed a couple 3s in a row here. Downing, coast to coast. Stevenson again. Offense is going to run through him, and he gets fouled. Reef reaching in there.
Yeah, you can see there the Max doubling Stevenson, trying to put a lot of pressure on him and forcing him to pass out of the post.
And so far, nobody else on the team has really shown that they can shoot it consistently, at least so far today. So probably a good idea from Coach Steinmetz here. Double him in the post and make somebody else start to beat you. If they do, then maybe you make adjustments. As there's Lowther who scores inside. The conference freshman of the year gets his second bucket. Couple of baskets in a row from the Engineers, trying to sneak their way back into this one. Halpert inside for Boker. 8 to shoot. It's Reef driving baseline. Malobsky, 2 to shoot. Deep 3. Terrell hits.
Yeah, Ryan Terrell's got range. The Macs are not afraid to take the shot clock all the way down. If it results in getting an open shot, they are not worried about that horn sounding.
And if you're WPI, you got to be upset with that possession. You played great defense for 28 seconds, and Terrell hits a deep 3 on you. Really nothing you can do about it, as the shot's no good from Lowther, and rebound the other way. Reef to the rim, missed the layup. He's upset with himself on that one. As the other way, Downing for 3. And he continues to struggle as a foul's going to go down inside against the Macs.
Yeah, and the Maccabees, they can run the floor for sure, but they can also slow the game down and just take apart a defense with their off-ball motion.
As we'll see, Wisniewski back into the game with his 2 fouls, and Coach Bartley feeling that it's pretty critical to have Wisniewski, his best defender and one of his best offensive players in the game, even with the 2 personals.
Certainly a big gamble, and for the Macs, Donnie Katz is back in the game replacing Malobsky.
Lowther tries a jump shot, and he left it short. It's an open shot, but it's not your best shot you can take on the offensive end, kind of a face-up mid-range. And it's a shot he can hit, but left it well short.
I still like it from Lowther. His range is about 15 feet, so he can definitely hit that shot for sure.
And a takeaway there. Coast to coast, and a foul is called. And free throws will be coming for WPI as they look to get this lead back down to single digits. But those free throws will come out of the timeout in Baltimore, a 10-point lead for the Macs.
Diving in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone will become a professional athlete. So they make sure that we will do great in academics. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
.755 to go in the first half, a 25-15 lead for Yeshiva here in Baltimore, and it's Ben Sarawagi who is going to go to the line, a seldom used freshman out of Belmont, Massachusetts, just the 14th game he has appeared in on the season, but he made a nice defensive play, got a steal, went to the rack, got fouled, and was able to knock down the first free throw. That's the first free throw he's taken all season. That tells you about how much he's played this year.
Yeah, and even more important to note, arguably, is that Simcha Halpert has 2 fouls now. 2 fouls on Simcha Halpert. The Max sharpshooter is out of the game. There's a foul on WPI. The Max are going to go to line for a 1-and-1, but with Halpert out of the game, they're going to have to rely on his younger brother, Eitan Halpert, to be the guy who spreads the floor.
So Sarawagi, his first 2 career free throws come in the NCAA tournament. Probably not something he thought would happen this year after the little amount he's played. He gets 1 out of 2. The foul inside went against Lowther, and it sent Terrell to the line for a 1-and-1, and the 80% free throw shooter who missed his first one earlier today trying to complete an and one, you know he's probably not going to miss 2 in a row as he gets them both to extend the lead to 11.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a rough stretch in the Skyline Conference Championships where he missed a couple of scenarios where he had 2 free throws where he missed both. But as a whole, Terrell is a very, very good free throw shooter.
Here's Stevenson in the paint. Lowther a 3, and he left it well short from the freshman. He's a good three-point shooter, doesn't take a lot of them. Came in 12 out of 21 from deep on the year, but he missed that one well short. As Reef goes up and scores. Strong bucket, and he got teed up. He hit the layup, immediately got into the face of the WPI defender. And Ofek Reef, the freshman, the Skyline Rookie of the Year this year, he'll get assessed a technical foul, and it'll be 2 shots and the ball for WPI.
Yeah, Coach Elliot Steinmetz cannot be happy with that. Reef, energy player getting to the hole, but you just got to get back to the other end and not say any extracurricular things.
And he wanted the foul there, didn't get it, got the bucket, and then you could see that tech come, and the referee talking to him right now as he immediately got in the face of his defender. As they'll send Wisniewski to the line. The senior is an 81% free throw shooter. He's the guy you want there. And he'll get 2 of them and knocks down both to get it back to an 11-point game. And they're going to get Reef out of the game here. I think probably a smart decision by Coach Steinmetz there. You get a technical foul where you kind of fired up, the emotions running high in the NCAA tournament. Just sit him down for a minute or 2, let him cool off, and then you can bring your impact freshman back into the game.
Yeah, I do definitely agree with that decision. And you see Tyler Hode replacing him. Hode, a senior who, I said Kevin Boak earlier was a defensive specialist. Tyler Hode is just a basketball IQ specialist. He's not there to score either, but he just knows where everything is on the court.
And a nice little dish to Stevenson. He gets double teamed. They almost took it away from him, and it'll be a foul going the other way. I think they're going to get Sarawagi with the foul, and we'll see. And it will go on the freshman Sarawagi, who's still in there. Again, coming into today, he had played in just 13 games, just 35 total minutes for the first-year guard. And he's getting some quality minutes here as Coach Bartley maybe wanted to send a message a little bit to his team about their defense. And he came in, got a steal, got to the other end, but he does commit a foul, and he's going to send Hode to the line here.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of confusion at the scorer's table. Originally, Terrell was assessed a foul, but it actually goes on Sarawagi.
So here's Hode, 5 for 6 the line this season. As you said, he's not out there shooting the ball a whole lot, so that means you're not going to get to the free throw line a whole lot, but he's done well when he's gotten there, and he knocks that one down.
Yeah, he's just a smart player, and he's there to help his teammates mainly, not help himself.
A senior out of Teaneck, New Jersey, makes 1 out of 2. And WPI down by 12 with the basketball. See if they can get Stevenson more involved despite the double teams he's seeing every time he catches it, unless he's pretty much out there beyond the three-point arc.
Yeah, now you say he's setting ball screens now. Only now he goes in the post.
And
Max doubling him.
That's just a bad pass there. You got to see there was a triple team coming there, and the freshman threw it away.
Yeah, as I outlined in the pregame show, it's Stevenson, Stevenson, Stevenson. No Stevenson, and WPI will struggle mightily.
Nice cross-court find to Leifer, and he floats it home. Yeshiva's got its largest lead of 14. And you can hear Coach Bartley calling for timeout from the sideline. His players can't hear him because the players have to be the ones who call the timeout. And finally, Colin McNamara turns around and gets time. 6:19 to go in our first half. It's a 14-point lead for the Macs, their largest today.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go in a personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
6:19 to play in the first half. Connor Newcomb, Akiva Poppers with you here on HopTV. The opening game of the 2020 D3 NCAA men's tournament, as another miss on the offensive end from WPI as Jake Wisniewski comes up empty. And Hode still in the game on the other end, kicks to the corner, Halpert a three, and it goes. It's all Max here in the first half.
Yeah, that's also where Eitan Halpert loves it, as he picks up his second steal of the game now.
Halpert takes it away, heat check, and he left it short. And the Engineers tried to save it, and they stepped out of bounds. And a little shaken up on the play is the junior Colin McNamara, who tried to save that one, ran into the bleachers, as he'll come out of the game and Doherty's going to check back in. It's been all Yeshiva. It was back and forth early. This was a 9-9 game into our first media timeout. Both teams were looking good, and then all of a sudden, Yeshiva just took over. Halpert inside, rolls it home.
Yeah, the Max not necessarily a middle driving team, but if they see that lane, they will take it for sure. Yeshiva is now on a 31-9 run.
Out top, Downing needs to see one go in, and he does. Second three for Caleb Downing on the day, and a much-needed basket for the Engineers.
Yeah, and I like the confidence from Downing, the junior, knowing that he's a shooter and that even if he's going to miss a few in a row, at one point the shots are just going to fall for him.
Katz into the game, somehow finds Halpert, and then he turns it over. WPI does nicely with a double team. Wisniewski, and he missed the layup.
And that was all Katz getting back on the defensive end, challenging that layup from Wisniewski.
And challenging without fouling is the big key there. He kind of stepped in front of him and then just stepped right away and forced him to miss the layup. Nice save by Halpert. Katz over to Terrell, and he hits again. Ryan Terrell's got 17 points. He's 6 of 7 from the field and 3 of 4 from deep.
Yeah, it's his first tournament game ever, and Ryan Terrell is just showing up for this crowd of about 5.
Stevenson has it deflected. Wisniewski turnaround, and it just won't fall. Been that kind of game so far for him, as that ball was halfway down and it pops out. Waiting for Halpert to get his way up the court there. And the Max didn't mind, a little bit of a breather there, as they'll go into Leifer. He feels a double team, and his shot rims out.
Yeah, Leifer, I do kind of like that shot for him, but he knows that he could have created a better one by just passing out of the paint there.
And Wisniewski hit, and he'll get 2 shots at the free throw line here for the senior, who's had a little bit of trouble on offense, but he's going to try and cut into this lead when we come back here on HopTV. .338 to play in this one, a 19-point lead for Yeshiva and Akiva. So far, it's been the Ryan Terrell show on offense.
Yeah, Terrell has 17 points, 6 for 7 from the field, 3 for 4 from the from the 3-point line. Excuse me. Terrell has just been dominating this WPI team, and the Max as a whole, their motion offense has just been working to perfection.
Wisniewski at the line. His struggles today continue as he misses the first of two, and he gets one. It's a 18-point lead for the Max. And a technical foul has been assessed once again. This time it's going to go on the Engineers, and I believe that was on Wisniewski. And I'm not 100% sure. We're going to wait for the referees to come over to the table, and it will be on Wisniewski. And he'll pick up the tech. And remember, Wisniewski already had 2 personals, so in college basketball, the tech counts as a personal foul, so he's going to have 3 now.
Yeah, that's a very difficult situation for WPI. Wisniewski is their glue guy on the defensive end, where WPI hasn't been great themselves so far today, even though they have that potential. They are the 15th most efficient defense in all of D3, according to Matt Snyder's rankings, which I love to use myself. No Wisniewski on the floor would be really difficult, and we saw him trying to pump up his squad in the last time out, but it has not worked yet for the Engineers.
And here's substitution. We see Bar-Aloof into the game for the first time. He a usual starter this year, but he only played 3 minutes in that Skyline Conference Tournament final, and it takes him until 3 minutes left in the first half to get into the game here.
Yeah, I think the bigger story is that a couple of years ago, there was an allegation that he was ineligible and he was unable to play in the Max first ever tournament game. This is now the first action he will ever get in an NCAA tournament.
To the wing, Halpert, he feeds inside. Leifer, nice pass to Katz, and he had it swatted. Ethan Harrell with the block. Shot clock did not reset. Oh, and it goes. Ryan Terrell, he's got 20.
Yeah, he's just unstoppable right now. WPI does not have any answers, and it's pretty difficult when he's just going to pull up from 35.
Downing trying to answer. He'll float one inside for Lowther. Goes under the hoop and scores.
Yeah, that was a nice pass from Downing. WPI may be down by 20. I do feel, though, that they need to really just get back to what they run. They should not be just trying to shoot the Max out, and they should just go inside every single play from now on. I do not like a strategy of shooting. You're down by 20 now. Can you imagine if you're down by 30?
Here's Terrell. He'll give it off. He's looking for an assist here, and he'll get it. That one's good from Halpert. The Max are red hot from deep lately in this one. They're now 7 out of 14. They're shooting at 50% from long range.
Yeah, 50% from long range and 60% from the field. Maccabees just cannot miss.
Downing baseline. He'll kick to the opposite corner. A 3 is up, and it hit off the side of the backboard from Ethan Harrell. Pretty good three-point shooter. Came in 11 for 19 on the year. That one nowhere close from the junior. Inside, taken away. And McNamara go right to the rim. Missed the layup. Harrell, a fight for it. It's on the floor. And we're going to get a jump ball. The arrow will keep it with the Engineers with under 2 to play in the half. So a dominant performance, as you said, 60% from the field, 47 points. And the Macs are going to call timeout with under 2 to play in the half. They're in full control of this one as we open the NCAA tournament. Couple subs coming in on the WPI side. We're going to see a couple of guys for the first time today. The freshman John Gates, number 21 in white, the 6'2 guard out of Hingham, Massachusetts, along with the sophomore center Logan O'Donnell, the 6'10 sophomore out of Fishkill, New York, number 32, are both into the game. And it starts with a 3 from John Gates. So maybe that was the correct substitution from head coach Chris Bartley. He puts Gates into the game and he nails a 3.
Yeah, and also an interesting decision to go with O'Donnell. It's almost as if he's seen the Max just take away Stevenson. He's trying to go to the 6'10 big boy inside now.
Malobsky back into the game. Halpert thought 3. Instead, he feeds inside. Terrell gets doubled. Somehow fights his way out of it. Aloof to the rim, and he lays it in.
Yeah, I said the Max earlier are not a middle drive team. Baraloof is the only exception. He loves to go middle. WPI just leaving it open, and the Max are up 22 with 1 minute to go.
Inside, Lowther got hit, and he'll get 2 shots. As he kind of forced it up a bit there, but I think that might have been on Katz as he came over from the opposite block, and it will be on Katz down low.
Yeah, and WPI, I do want to see them get this lead down to about 18 or so. You do not want to go into halftime down by a similar margin as the margin which you were up by against Coast Guard in your conference championship game. The Max have seen it done to them too, though. In the semifinals of the Skyline Conference, they were up by 14 at halftime, and they blew a lead to Farmingdale State, 29-9 run for Farmingdale State in that game. The Max eventually won, but barely. And so both teams know what can happen out of the locker room, and the Max have to be sure not to sit on this lead.
Under a minute to go in the first half. It's now a 21-point lead for Yeshiva, as it was 1 of 2 at the line there for Lowther, just a 55% free throw shooter. That's the one thing the freshman struggled at this year. As Terrell gets open again, and he finally misses one, as a sigh of relief there from WPI.
Yeah, he's feeling it. WPI with a chance for a 2-for-1 now, but they've got to shoot fast.
Got to go quick for it. Downing throws it up. Lowther inside, and he finishes strong. A lot of traffic down there, but he got it to go. And now with the shot clock off, the Max can take the final shot if they want.
Yeah, Lowther is just a tough post player. I love it inside. And the Max, we've seen them not shoot for one, but usually they will hold until there's about 10 seconds.
Here's Aloof. They're trying to hit a 50 spot in the first half. They can get a bucket here. 6 to shoot. You got to think Terrell's going to put it up. Goes right to the rim. Finger roll. It's no good, but a blocking foul, and he'll get 2 shots with just 2 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Terrell's the guy who you want the ball in his hands. 7 times this season he scored 30 points on the road. The Max much better at home this season on the road. Oftentimes Ryan has had to be that guy who just takes over the game, and he definitely has the potential to do so. So I do like the decision by Coach Steinmetz to just let Ryan take the ball himself with 5 seconds on the clock. And with 2 to go, now an interesting situation for the Engineers. Would you consider calling a timeout if you're them?
I think they might just, 2 seconds is tough, especially because you don't get to advance the ball up the court. As Terrell, an 80% free throw shooter, knocks down the first one. He's now 4 of 6 at the line today, and that's 50 as a team. But for this Max team, a dominant first half. I think a smart sub here. They're going to get Wisniewski in with the 3 fouls, one of your better offensive players, to try for this final shot here. As Terrell with 22 points now in this first half. So we'll see if WPI can get one final shot up. If not, it'll be a 20-plus point advantage at the half for the Max. Terrell goes 2 for 2. Wisniewski is going to be the one who inbounds the ball. It's into McNamara. The heave is no good. That's going to take us to the half. A dominant offensive performance by the Max in that first half. They shoot it as a team just under 60%, 7 of 15 from deep. They put up over 50. And they lead it 51-30 at halftime, and just a dominant performance.
Yeah, the Maccabees showing what they can do. Really, WPI, no answers on either side of the floor for the Max.
So for Yeshiva, obviously the star was Ryan Terrell with 23 points, and Eitan Halpert had 10 to add to it, and Simha Halpert had 7 points as well, as we're going to be joined by head coach Elliot Steinmetz. And, Coach, obviously you got to be happy with the offense, 51 points in that first half, but especially Ryan. I mean, have you seen games where he's shooting the ball this well out there?
We have. You know, Ryan's an all-around player. He's got
Yeah, and Coach, we saw one time in the first half triple teaming Stevenson, but you guys have been doubling him a lot. Was that one of the parts of the game which you wanted to really focus on, taking away Stevenson?
Yeah, he's a fantastic player.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. So that was head coach Elliot Steinmetz after his team leads it 51-30 after 20 minutes of play in this NCAA first-round matchup. We'll be back shortly for the second half. Don't go anywhere. Here on HopTV.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person, competing at a Division III level. It created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein. Football has taught me a lot throughout my life.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go into personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being. I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football.
WPI head coach Chris Bartley joins us here at the half with the Engineers trailing by 21. And Coach, obviously in that first half, Ryan Terrell for Yeshiva, he gets 23. Do you have to key on stopping him in that second half, or what do you have to do defensively, you think, to get your team back in it?
Yeah, I thought they were terrific, and, Ryan obviously had a great first half. I think we just got to get back to our basics defensively, our fundamentals, and see if we can, at the 15-minute mark, chip away at this thing and slowly but surely get ourselves back in the game. We didn't play well. I think we can play better. We got some guys that aren't here today. But the guys that we have going in that maybe don't have the experience, they got a little bit of that under their belt in the first half, and let's see where we go from here. But thank you.
Yeah, and Coach, Garrett Stevenson in the first half, you guys struggled a little bit to get the ball in the low post to him. What do you need to do in order to make sure that your leading scorer is able to get more touches down there?
Yeah, they did a great job, supporting them, their big kid defensively. They were right there on every catch. We have to space it better, and, we got to put some shooting on the floor to do that. And, so we'll see if we can do a little bit of a better job of that in the second half.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
That was head coach Chris Bartley of the WPI Engineers. This Engineers team trailing 51-30 at halftime, as we will be right back for the second half here on HopTV. Back here at Goldfarb Gymnasium for the second half of this NCAA tournament first round matchup in the Division III men's basketball tournament between the Yeshiva Maccabees and the WPI Engineers. Yeshiva with a 51-30 halftime lead. Connor Newcomb, Akiva Poppers with you as we start the second half. And in that first half, it was all Ryan Terrell, 23 points. He shot the ball like crazy, but Gabriel Leifer, who only scored 4 points, maybe made somewhat close to as much of a difference as a three goes down there for Halpert. He was plus 24 on the court in that first half.
Yeah, Leifer, just because he's not scoring does not mean that he is not having a big impact on the game. The fact that Leifer is there down low forces WPI to cover up on him, and that leads to better shots for the Max shooters outside.
And another miss from Wisniewski, but a nice follow inside. And the other guy we want to talk about in that first half, Garrett Stevenson, the leading scorer on this team, 16 points per game. He had only 4 points in that first half. Now, granted, he took only 2 shots, made them both. They just really couldn't get him the ball in that first half.
Yeah, the Max were doubling him. The Max were forcing him at a low post, just making his catches difficult from a positioning perspective.
And Terrell continues. He's got another three. He's up to 26 points, and he just has given himself the Yeshiva all-time single-season scoring record with that three-pointer.
Yeah, now he's at 601 points. He passes 601 points. He passes Simcha Halpert, who is on the floor for the Max right now as the leading scorer in a single season.
So Stevenson now all of a sudden getting himself involved, and he's got 4 points in the first half and then all 4 points to start the second half.
Yeah, it's a good sign for WPI, even though the Max are hitting their shots early on, the fact that Stevenson has been able to get down low.
Leifer misses, long rebound, and it's picked up by Halpert. Tried to feed it over to Leifer, and Terrell somehow gets it and banks it home.
And
he is red hot.
He's just unstoppable. Terrell 9 for 11 from the field. WPI simply does not have any answers for the MAC 6'7" Swiss Army Life.
28 points for Ryan Terrell, the sophomore from Los Angeles, the 2020 Skyline Conference Player of the Year. Came in averaging 23 points a game to go along with 6 rebounds and 3 assists, as that shot's no good. Led the Skyline Conference, shot at over 62% from the floor. For a guard who likes to shoot the 3 as well, to shoot at that percentage is kind of unheard of.
Yeah, he put on 20 or 25 pounds in the offseason in an effort to become more of a post player, though. So it really wasn't surprising to see him become more of a 2-point shooter this season.
A steal from WPI. They're just looking for open shots at this point. Wisniewski hits it. He had a struggle in that first half. Picked up 3 fouls, had to sit for a good amount, but he knocks down that jumper as he's now got 9 points on 3 of 7 shooting.
Yeah, and once again, even though the Macs are coming out of the locker room hot, WPI has to be excited with the fact that their offense is really running well in the second.
Terrell. It's unstoppable. He's got 31.
Connor, I don't know what to say. There's nothing the Engineers can do to stop Terrell at this point in the game. Nothing. If they try to double him 35 feet out, like, what are you supposed to do?
31 points as the turnaround jumper is no good and the rebound is tipped out to Halpert. 31 points. He's 10 of 12 from the field as Halpert's going to get 2 shots. He's also 6 of 8 from deep, 5 of 7 from the line. You add in 4 rebounds and 2 assists. It's been a complete game for Ryan Terrell.
Yeah, and WPI now down by 26, a larger deficit than in that Coast Guard game where they were up by 25 in the championship. It's going to be very difficult for them to come back right now.
Eitan Halpert at the line. Hasn't shot a whole bunch of free throws this year as that one rattles home. Just 11 for 17 on the year at the free throw line, but he hits the first.
Yeah, he makes his money from outside. Even though he can drive inside and get fouled, he loves to sit on the perimeter, just like his brother Simcha.
So these two teams meeting in the opening game of the NCAA Division III men's basketball tournament today, and Yeshiva with a healthy advantage right now as it continues to grow here in this second half, as Halpert will get 1 of 2 and they lead by 27. For Yeshiva, it's their second ever NCAA tournament appearance. The first one came 2 years ago, as in the 2017-2018 season, they went 18-11, 13-7 in the Skyline Conference, won the conference, and were knocked out in the first round of the NCAA tournament that year. But this year just feels completely different. Not only are they on their way if they can hold on to their first ever NCAA tournament victory, but that year, you know, at 18-11, they definitely had to win the conference to get in. This year, you know, they even would have had an argument had they not won the Skyline tournament. And at 27-1, they're ranked in the top 25. This is a team that this time around could really make a run.
Yeah, and last time it was no Terrell. It was Leifer in his first semester. The Macs really improved in that second half of the season in 2017-18, and you saw it. But because they had a bad first half of the season in 2017-18, they were forced to play York, a host, a top 12 school in the country. So a little bit different here. WPI is an extremely good team, but they're not top 10 in the country, per se. So the Macs, by getting that 27-run record, by winning 27 in a row, allow themselves to get an easier first-round matchup.
There's Lowther inside, turning. Tough left-handed shot. It goes for the freshman. And for Yeshiva, you mentioned they went to York, a team that Hopkins beat way back in December this year. But 2 years ago, played the Spartans on the road as they hosted that regional. It was an 81-67 win for York in the first round back in 2018, and Yeshiva's first ever NCAA tournament game. Leifer had a good game, 18 points, 6 rebounds. And Donnie Katz had 15 as well, but it just wasn't enough against the Spartans, as a corner 3 is no good, and the rebound to the freshman John Gates.
Yeah, and WPI now really pushing the pace a little bit, realizing that they're going to have to score buckets rapidly.
Inside to Stevenson, had a nice start to his second half, gets doubled, and Leifer knocks it out of bounds.
Yeah, we saw the Macs doubling Stevenson throughout the first, keeping him uncomfortable, as we have a timeout on the floor, an official timeout.
63-38 is the lead for Yeshiva over WPI in our first round matchup here, as a little floater is no good there from Dakota Wheeler, and a rebound and a foul against the Engineers. It's been all Yeshiva. They led it by 21 at the half. The lead is now 25 as Garrett Stevenson picks up his second personal foul. And for this Yeshiva team, it's just about finishing this one over the final 15 minutes.
Yeah, the Maccabees in their game against Farmingdale State, which I referenced earlier, struggled to finish, and Farmingdale State came back from a 14-point deficit. The Macs against Purchase also struggled to put away the Panthers, despite having a 16-point lead, but they did not blow that one.
And Terrell, are they going to count the bucket? They will not. Foul goes on the floor, and they just can't stop Ryan Terrell right now with a game-high 31 points.
And I'm actually quite surprised by the fact that this is the first time in the game that I've seen Ryan go to that pivot spin move, which he loves to do in the post, which just tells you that he has been feeling hot from outside this game.
Some subs in for WPI as they will get the freshman Ben Sarawagi back in there, who again is just appearing in his 14th game of the year, and he played a couple of good minutes in that first half. Leifer with the basketball to his left. Tough bank shot. They're going to say no shot. Offensive foul against Leifer as the senior out of Lawrence, New York, picks one up there and wave off the bucket.
Yeah, Leifer pushing off in order to create an easier shot. Max, I would say it's important to keep their fouls down in this half. They only have 2 with 14:35 on the clock remaining in this game.
Downing to his left, lost his dribble and threw it away. Halpert. Nice ball movement. Inside, the one extra pass and an easy 2 for Caleb Molopsky, the junior out of Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, and you saw all the Maccabees getting down the floor and getting ready to run that motion in a fast break, something which the Engineers are not used to seeing in NewMac conference play.
Wide open, Downing, a deep 3 it goes. His third three-pointer of the day. Caleb Downing, the junior from Middletown, Connecticut, came in averaging 9.7 points per game on the year, and Downing with that shot now has 11. Move to the left, there's a foul, the bucket's no good, but I believe it'll be 2 shots coming for Simcha Halpert. And Halpert will get the 2 free throws where he is pretty much a knockdown shooter at the line, 86% for the senior out of LA as he converts on the first.
Yeah, and Ryan Terrell telling the Maccabees that they have to stop giving up easy ones, basically telling his squad just to contest those shots. We saw that three-pointer earlier from Downing. He may have been about 5 feet behind the arc, but he was wide open. And the Macs do need to contest some shots here because WPI has some players who can get absolutely scorching hot from behind the arc. And so the Maccabees may be up by 26, but 5 three-pointers in a row and boom, it's a game.
Speaking of scorching hot, Ryan Terrell, 31 points as Wisniewski's open and he knocks down a 3. He loves to see that one go in right there. It's been a little bit of a struggle for him, but he's got 12 points. Lead is back to 23, but Terrell with the 31. That follows up the 29 points he had in the conference championship game on Sunday, the 86-74 win for Yeshiva over SUNY Purchase. And he just continues to say red hot. He was 11 for 21 from the field and 3 of 4 from deep in that game. And he finally misses one. That was a really tough mid-range.
Yeah, and that's his shot, though. He's been taking it since high school. He loves it, but not the best percentage-wise.
Lowther trying to create contact. No call, but he gets the bucket.
Yeah, I like Lowther going inside. Just so tough. Such a great player when he gets into the paint and right to the basket.
Zach Lowther, again, the NewMac Freshman of the Year this year. First year, 6'4" forward out of Hingham, Massachusetts. Shooting at 54% from the field this year as Leifer passes up the 3. Give it back to the corner, and now they find the hot hand. And it's good. Ryan Terrell, once again, he's got another 3, and that is his 7th three-pointer. He's got 34 points.
And that's just unselfish play from the Maccabees, passing up multiple open shots in order to get it to Terrell.
And Lowther answers with a nice bucket, and he's starting to feel it, get the touch here in this second half.
Yeah, Lowther now 7 for 12 from the floor, 15 points, the leading scorer for WPI. And the Engineers, even though they have been able to get their offense going in the second half, still down 22 points.
The season high for Ryan Terrell is 36 points. That was in the second game of the season, all the way back on November 10th at Caltech in the first victory of the year for Yeshiva, the game that started the 27-game winning streak. And he's got 34 now today as Lowther misses the free throw. Wisniewski rebounds, and the three rims out.
Yeah, Wisniewski getting a little jumpy there, seeing that open three, wanting to cut the lead down to 19. But the player, he doesn't have great range, but he can hit. We saw him just a few minutes ago hit one. Could not get that one to go.
And the 36 earlier this year for Terrell, not just a season high, but a career high for him. As Yeshiva takes it away, and he'll slam to match the career high with 36. A thunderous jam from Ryan Terrell.
Yeah, and we can now hear the Max bench really getting into this game, wanting to put the dagger in the throat of the Engineers.
Downing looking to answer, too strong, and a nice tip out on the rebound from Sarawagi. Wisniewski, give it up into the corner, and that one goes. Another three for John Gates. He's another guy who hasn't played too much this year, just the 17th game he's appeared in, and he had played just 51 minutes all season coming into this one, but Gates entered late in the first half, and he's hit a couple threes, and now he gets called for a foul off the ball on the other end.
Yeah, but he's made an impact on the Engineers, hitting both of his three-pointers so far tonight. Connor, Engineers just still do not have any answers for this Max offense.
Yeah, they got to get the offense going, come out of the timeout. Just 11 minutes to go in this one.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go on a personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
.11:06 to go in this one. Yeshiva, they led by 21 at the half. They lead by 21 now, as the offense for WPI has been much, much better in this second half. They've gotten 21 points in 9 minutes, but they've also allowed 21 as the defense has continued to struggle, as they call Halpert for the walk there, and WPI forces the turnover.
Yeah, we were saying out of the locker room that WPI really needed to improve in getting the ball down low in the post, and they've done a great job at that, but the Max just cannot be stopped from outside tonight.
Stevenson back in the game. Harrell goes right inside, and it was John Gates who had it poked away. They'll go to Stevenson, their leading scorer. Hasn't been too much of a factor today. And there's a three, and that one's too strong from Sarawagi, who hasn't made a three this year. Halpert goes coast to coast and lays it in.
Yeah, and that was set up by the freshman Ofek Reef, seeing that the pass was there to Halpert, who just loves to run the break like that. And the Maccabees up 23 with 10:10 to go.
This WPI team, again, they were a Pool C bid, 20-7, 10-3 in the new MAC this year. And it looks like, unless they can put together a furious comeback, their season may end today as Leifer with a steal. He's trying to run the floor, gives it up, and the basket's good, +1, a new career high for Ryan Terrell, and he'll go to the free throw line with 38 points now on the day.
Yeah, it's a coming out party for Terrell in his first ever NCAA tournament game. 13 for 16 from the field. These are not normal numbers, Connor.
Terrell will go to the free throw line, trying to make it 39, but speaking of WPI, their last NCAA tourney appearance came in 2016. They had gone 3 straight years missing out on the tourney before getting back in this year as a Pool C bid. But the last time they were in the tourney back in 2016, it was a first-round loss, a 19-point loss to SUNY Cortland. They've been to the tournament a good amount under Chris Bartley, 12 NCAAs in his 19 seasons. However, if you look back, they haven't won a tournament game since 2013 when they beat SUNY Purchase by 13 in the first round that year before getting knocked out by Randolph-Macon in the second round. And so for WPI, again, they do enough to get into the tournament this year, but another disappointing first-round exit.
Yeah, but if there's one good thing I can say about WPI, it's that they still have an excellent core for next season. You've got Stevenson, who's going to be coming back. You've got McNamara, who's going to be coming back. Lowther, who showed a lot tonight, he's going to be coming back next season. An excellent opportunity next year for them to show off what they've got.
And Dakota Wheeler hits a jumper. We still got 9.5 minutes of basketball to play, and I've seen crazier things, so wouldn't count them completely out just yet. But the way Yeshiva's playing offensively, and especially Ryan Terrell, I don't even think it's about WPI scoring enough points as the offenses look better, but they got to start to get some stops, which has been a big issue for them.
Yeah, the Max really just going with a first to 80 strategy right now. WPI struggling to get there. Yeshiva's going to get there with about 9 minutes remaining in the game. And the Engineers with their slow offense, this is not exactly the scenario they want to be in.
This will go out to Hode. He's going to have to put one up. Missed it short, and Stevenson with a board.
And the Engineers are just not used to playing quickly. It's just not where they are comfortable.
Into the corner. Three goes up from Harrell, and that one's no good for the junior Ethan Harrell out of Wexford, Pennsylvania. Hode with a drive, throws it up, and he'll get 2 shots.
And WPI, that's their 7th foul of the period. Max only have 3. Another area which is just not going the Engineers' way in the second half.
Gates picks up his 2nd foul, and that'll send the senior Tyler Hode to the free throw line. And he is 1 for 2 there today. Knocks that one down. And for Hode, 2 points in this one, a rebound and an assist for the senior. But WPI, talking about them, you know, it really looked like they were going to get the auto bid from the NUMAC, and luckily for them, they lost their conference championship game and still got a Pool C bid into the tournament. But in that championship game, basically all the breaks fell their way in the conference tournament. They ended up facing the number 5 seed in the NUMAC tournament, kind of the darling Cinderella of that conference tournament, Coast Guard. And this WPI team felt like they could pretty much overmatch Coast Guard, and they did so in the first half. WPI had a 47-23 lead at the half. That lead stretched to as many as 25 points in the second half, and they blew that 25-point lead, and the game ended up going into overtime as Coast Guard got it back to OT, and then Coast Guard won the game 89-86 in overtime. And you look at the way this game has gone now as they trail by 27. And, you know, it was a hot start for Yeshiva, and WPI went down early. You have to think, did anything carry over from that tough second half in overtime?
It's quite possible. We were saying pregame that they just needed to go to their stuff. They needed to go to Stevenson inside. But when that was not available early on, their offense really did fall apart.
Here's Stevenson turning. He finally doesn't see a double team, and he gets it to go.
Yeah, Stevenson, a few buckets here very recently. He's been finding his touch. His post moves have been excellent on the Max, but it just may be too little too late for the junior.
He's now into double figures, and he does have 10 points on 5 of 6 shooting, but just the rest of his team didn't do enough offensively and defensively in this one as Lou Doherty almost gets a steal, and then he commits a foul out near half court.
Yeah, and that's the 4th foul on Doherty. And the Maccabees will be shooting 1-1.
They'll get a 1-1 when we come out of this timeout. It is all Max, and unless something drastic happens, looks like they're well on their way to the second round.
Diving in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone's gonna become a professional athlete. So they make sure that we will do great in academics. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
7:30 to go in this one from Goldfarb Gymnasium. Connor Newcomb, Akiva Poppers with you here on HopTV as Ofek Reith misses the front end of a 1-and-1 coming out of the timeout, and WPI possesses it, trailing by 25 in this one. They were down 21 at the half, and Yeshiva has only extended the lead. Doherty opened 3, that's no good, and a rebound to Katz. The three-point shooting today for WPI, now 6 out of 19 from deep as a team. And the number, not really anything awful, but the way Yeshiva shot it, you just need to see more of those go down. Terrell triple teamed, and at that point, that might be the best way to stop him. They get the tie-up, and the arrow gives it back over to the Engineers.
Yeah, I would say at this point for the Engineers, the only thing which makes sense for them to go to would be a full court press. What else are you going to do? You're down by 25 with 7 to go. The Macs are solid against a full court press, and we see Donnie Katz now hedging to try to slow things down, but they're not bad against a full court press, and it's very difficult to see them committing more than a few turnovers in a short span should the Engineers decide to go there.
Looks like that foul down low went on Katz, which will be his 4th. So the senior Donnie Katz out of Baltimore, again in homecoming weekend for him, only 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting. He's been in foul trouble and leaves the game again with 4. His jumper out of bounds play, no good for John Gates.
And we see the Macs going with 4 guards, 1 forward, with Terrell being a player who plays as a guard forward almost. And this is something which the Macs can do. They can use Terrell as a forward, despite the fact that there are multiple forwards in the game for WPI. It won't hurt them. And even though it's a little interesting to see, it makes sense with Donnie Katz out of the game with 4 fouls.
So Lou Doherty just fouled out there. A tough way for him to go out in his final game in a WPI uniform for the 5'11 senior guard out of Arlington, Massachusetts, and Arlington Catholic High School, who missed all of last season, returned to the court this year. And he fouls out without scoring, 0 for 2 from the field. Both shots were 3s. Did not really find the score sheet other than that. No rebounds, no assists for Doherty, who getting hugs to all of his teammates and coaches here as he fouls out of his final collegiate game. And that's really the tough part as you get to the end of these NCAA tournament games. It's obviously tough in the regular season for the teams that don't make the tournament, but some of those teams can really see the end coming. When your last game comes in the NCAA tournament, you just never know. Any day you wake up could be your last on the court, and Doherty fouling out with about 6.5 to go of his final game.
Yeah, it's so difficult mentally knowing that once you're in the tournament, you need to win 6 games in a row and win the championship in order to not end your career with a loss if you're a senior. It's just so tough.
Inside, Lowther gives it up. Gates for 3. It got blocked, and Wisniewski, the other senior on this team, has the rebound. Lowther inside, just kind of fumbling with the basketball now, but a fadeaway goes there for Dakota Wheeler. Nice shot from Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler might be 6'5", but his main role is to shoot, which makes sense for him to be on the floor now with WPI needing some baskets quickly.
Halpert, left-handed drive. And he'll pull it back out. Can he get to 40? Tough shot, but Terrell's going to get 2 at the line, and he will have a chance to continue to extend that career high. He's got a career high 39 points, 13 of 16 from the field, 7 of 9 from 3, 6 of 8 from the line, and 1 free throw here is going to give him 40 on the day.
Yeah, and with Terrell, you're starting to get into history book territory in terms of points in a game. The one player, though, who I know definitely scored more than 40 in a game for the Macs, Stuart Polliner, back in the 60s and 70s, averaged over 28 points a game in his senior season. But Terrell, for this decade, now, not only is he the leading scorer in any game, set the record for a season total, and now he's got 41 points.
Hits both free throws there. He's now 8 for 10 at the line, as WPI just has not been able to put a stop to him. As a nice little runner, and it goes down for Sarawagi. Ben Sarawagi, just the 2nd shot he's hit all season. Again, a guy who hasn't played much, but getting some time today. And they answer with a Halpert jumper.
Yeah, the Macs, you might think that they would slow it down just because they're up by a lot with a few minutes to go. That's not how they work. If they see an opportunity, they will take it. And they just did it right there on the fast break.
Wisniewski inside, and he got bumped. Just the 5th team foul against the Macs. So it'll go underneath, and we'll get a WPI sub here. Charles Considine's going to come into the game. First time we're seeing him, number 30 in white, the 6'5" sophomore forward out of Pembroke, Massachusetts. Here's a baseline jumper, goes down from Lowther, and he gets another bucket. As the Ryan Terrell, 41 points, seems like a lot in an NCAA Division III tournament game. However, he's going to need to get really, really hot if he wants the record. The all-time record for a single game in the D3 men's basketball tournament, 62 points. And he's at 41. Here's an offensive foul. Goes against Gabriel Leifer right there.
Yeah, Terrell's, he maybe had 41 points, but he is, in general, just a very unselfish player. His goal is not to get to 41 points, but if the shots are open, obviously he will take them, and that's just how the Max offense runs.
Just a phenomenal performance, missing only 3 shots. Lowther, he's had a nice day, and they're going to say it's on the floor, and that will be foul number 7, it looks like, against Yeshiva. So 1-1 coming for the freshman, John Lowther, and this is the one spot, again, he's the NEWMAC Rookie of the Year, but the one spot where he's really struggled, just 55% at the free throw line on the season, and he will go there for 1-1 with his team trailing by 25 here late in this one, and it looks all but certain that the Macs are going to advance to the second round and pick up their first ever NCAA tournament victory.
Yeah, Lowther, though, I love to see his play today. Him and Stevenson next year are going to be really impressive. He's got a high for WPI right now, 18 points with a free throw pending, and he's really just shown off what he can do inside so far.
His 8 out of 14 from the field is pretty good numbers in there from Lowther, again with the 18, and came in averaging 8.5 points per game and about 5 rebounds per game as well for the freshman. But he's really showed out in his first ever NCAA tournament game as he gets 1 of 2, and now an over-the-back foul. It's going to be called on WPI, and it's going to be 2 shots on the other end for the Macs.
Yeah, and that 8 for 14 for Lowther might be a little bit deceiving because 3 of those shots were threes, and he missed them all. When he gets inside, he can absolutely take over the game.
And they should be excited about him. And as you said, Garrett Stevenson with the 16 points per game. He's a junior, so he'll be back for 1 more year as Simcha Halpert goes to the line for 2 shots here. But a lot to be excited about for the Engineers. You talked about they lose the 2 seniors, Doherty, who found out already, and then the senior Jake Wisniewski. But they return a lot of this team, and the hope is for them that they could maybe win the NEWMAC next year and don't have to sweat it out as much as they did on Selection Monday this week as a bucket goes down for John Gates. Halpert to the corner. Nice ball movement here as they get it over to Hode. Reef with a drive. Tough shot, and it falls.
Yeah, Reef hasn't been the greatest in terms of stuffing the stat sheet today, but he has had a great impact on the McAfees, especially on the fast break.
There's another 3. Now here's a guy who's coming back next year, John Gates, the freshman. Not a whole lot of playing time this season, but he's really impressed. You know, as Coach Bartley tried to put him in as somewhat of a spark plug late in the first half, he's played really well in this one.
Yeah, 3 for 3 from 3 as Simcha Halpert misses a 3, and the ball goes back to the Engineers.
And there's Gates with the rebound as well. He gets it up to Considine, who just came into the game. Gates tries again and hits. Watch out for John Gates in the 2020-21 season. He's putting on a show here in his first NCAA tournament game. And the response goes down for Caleb Merlopsky, a 35% three-point shooter on the year for the 6'6" junior forward, and he hits from the corner.
Yeah, we saw him in a game against Williams go 5 for 6 from 3 and basically win the Max a game and keep that win streak alive, and he does it again there.
Corner 3, no good from Considine, and we'll take us to our final media timeout. It's all Max in this one. They're about to hit 100 and get their first ever big dance victory.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go into personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
Under 3 minutes to go. It's all Yeshiva in this one, as looks like the WPI Engineers will see their season end here in Baltimore today. Connor Newcomb, Akiva Poppers back here with you on HopTV. We thank you so much for joining us for the opening game of the NCAA D3 men's basketball tournament today here in Baltimore. And a couple more games are underway. Looks like Susquehanna and Benedictine and RPI and New England College both tipped off at 3:30 as the tournament gets underway. All 32 first-round games today and all 16 second-round games tomorrow, as we'll start to get it down after tomorrow night to the Sweet 16. Of course, a little bit different, the tournament being done this year. The first 2 rounds at the host sites this weekend, Friday and Saturday, as we will get a timeout here for WPI, 2:52 to play, and we'll tell you about the rest of the new tournament system when we come back. .252 to go in this one, a 21-point lead for Yeshiva over WPI. Coming into the break and now out of the break, talking about the new tournament format as Molobsky hits a 3 with the first 2 round games this weekend, Friday and Saturday, around the country. And then next weekend, next either Friday or Saturday, just the Sweet 16 games will be played at host schools. The highest seeded school in each game will host the one game that weekend. Then you span to the next weekend up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The final 8 teams will head there. They will play the Elite 8 and the Final 4 games up there. And then they'll, after 2 weeks off, they will play in Atlanta, where the D1 and D2 finals are, for the national championship game. So another timeout here as the coaches using their timeouts, trying to stretch this one out a little bit, a 24-point Yeshiva lead. .228 to go in this one, a 24-point lead for Yeshiva as it opened 3 for Harrell, and that one's no good. As we were talking about the NCAA tournament format, the final's going to be played at State Farm Arena down in Atlanta on that Sunday, the first weekend in April. That is the home of the Atlanta Hawks, where the D3 and D2 finals will be. Of course, the D1 Final Four will be the same weekend, Saturday and Monday, inside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the brand new dome for the Atlanta Falcons. And it should be a great weekend of basketball with all three divisions kind of converging in Atlanta. And it makes it a little odd because if you win your Elite Eight and Final Four games in the one weekend, you wait 2 weeks just to play one game, which could make it a little odd for the two teams in the national championship. But I do like that all three divisions will be in the same place.
Yeah, I do like that, but can you just imagine how poor the scoring could be in the first few minutes of that game? I mean, last year, Oshkosh and Swarthmore, 96-82 game. You know, the championship game has the potential in the past to just go crazy scoring-wise. You could feel that the teams which make it there 2 weeks off, they could be a little cold out of the gate, but I do like the idea as a whole for sure.
So obviously, Yeshiva hoping that it could make and continue its winning streak and get there and play in that game. And for Yeshiva, you know, obviously there could be some complaints about 2 weeks off, but if you're in the national championship game, you can't do a whole lot of complaining for any team, as a 3 goes down right there for Charles Considine, the sophomore who just checked into the game.
Yeah, I may note, Yeshiva had over a 1 month break due to the way their scheduling works with the Judaic and General Studies classes. They had a 1 month break, December 19th to January 22nd early there. So they are used to having extended periods of time off.
And a lot of D3 teams kind of have the same thing. Hopkins had a break of, it was about 5 weeks where they only played 2 games basically in the middle of that, played a couple games right at the end of 2019 just to get some games in. Went up to Stevens, and these two teams, WPI, you know, they kind of do the same thing as they just try to get a couple games in there because of the class schedule and the way the schedule goes. So that does make it fit a little bit better to D3 basketball, as Max Leibowitz, the sophomore out of Valley Village, California, into the game for the first time. Gets 2 free throws, makes 1 of 2. That was actually his first miss at the line this year on that first one. And Yeshiva sitting on 99 here. Nice feed as they go to the big man, and layup no good from Logan O'Donnell. As the clock winds down here, 3-pointer, good from Leibowitz, and there it is, Yeshiva over 100 as Leibowitz knocks down his 3rd 3 of the season. Considine tries to answer, and it rims out. WPI is going to get it back, and we're going to get a foul on Halpert as WPI will get free throws, and that'll just about do it for this one. So looking forward, obviously this team will play the winner of Penn State Harrisburg and Johns Hopkins. They will play right here on HopTV, right here in this gym at 7 p.m. tonight. And then the two teams would face off around 8:30 tomorrow night back here at Goldfarb. But for Yeshiva, I mean, you got to feel good coming out of this one. You're going to feel good anyway if you get a win. But the way you're shooting it, and to know the way and how well Hopkins plays in this gym if they were to face the Blue Jays, Yeshiva's got to feel really good going into tomorrow.
Yeah, they definitely do, although I do have to say the way their scheduling works out with the Sabbath, in a couple hours from now, they're going to be completely forgetting about this game for the next 24 hours. So, and with that, they're not going to be able to see the Johns Hopkins Penn State Harrisburg game. So they will have difficulty, say, scouting Johns Hopkins. They already finished that scout, I'm sure, just, you know, earlier this week, knowing that they won't be able to watch that game and get a little look at the winner of that team.
So Michael Bixon, number 24, and Jasper Newman, number 21, each into the game for Yeshiva. They're joined by Sammy Mandel and Ryan Boker as they get really the bench in there from head coach Elliot Steinmetz to end this one. A dominant performance by the Macs in this one. They score over 100, and they really held this one coast to coast. Their first ever NCAA tournament victory is a 102-98 or 102-78 win over WPI. And Akiva, it was just all Macs all the way. They shot the ball about as well as you're going to see any team do in the postseason.
Yeah, shooting over 60%, their final total was. They shot 53.6% from 3. These are not normal numbers, and I would say we should not expect to see this again on Saturday night. But that said, when the motion offense for Yeshiva is going like it was today, it's extremely possible that they do shoot 50% again, just because those shots will be open throughout the night if they are able to run the motion properly.
And obviously the star in this one was Ryan Terrell, a career-high 41 points for him. He was 13 for 16 from the field, 7 of 9 from 3, and 8 of 10 from the free throw line, as Terrell was essentially on another level in this one for the Macs. And Simha Halpert had 20 points, a nice day, 6 of 9 from the field, as his brother Eitan Halpert had 14 as well. It was really kind of a big three scoring for Yeshiva in this one. On the other end, for the Engineers, Wisniewski with 12, Gates with 14, Lowther with 18, Downing with 11, and Stevenson with 10. They had 5 in double figures, but frankly, their offense, after still playing pretty well, it just was not enough to keep up with that high-powered Yeshiva attack.
Yeah, the Maccabees offense hitting 100 for the 3rd time this season. Not something they're used to doing. Usually in those games where they go off late, they'll just shut it down. But the Maccabees just kept pushing the pedal. 51 points in the first half, 51 points in the second half for Yeshiva.
So Ryan Terrell with those 41 points. We believe we're going to get a chance to talk to Ryan here, but as he heads to the locker room to go celebrate with his teammates. So one more time from this one for my partner Akiva Poppers and our entire HopTV crew. I'm Connor Newcomb signing off for now from Goldfarb Gymnasium. Yeshiva, its first ever NCAA tournament win, 102-78 over WPI. Next up, 7 p.m., Hopkins and Penn State Harrisburg right here on HopTV.